Evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Leon Block. Tonight, I'm going to be dropping some block drops on y'all, headlines, and then I will be having a guest on. So stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss this.
Black men are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by cops than white men.
They don't want us to succeed.
How much more do we have to take?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Leon Block. So, I do want to jump in really quick and update y'all on what has been going down with the Barry Washington, Ian Cranston, Ali Butler situation. But first, I want to introduce y'all to a guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me on your show. My name is Veillie Starr. I'm so excited to talk on the podcast with you, man.
Yo, the feeling is mutual. Seriously. We're literally just Facebook friends and just been peeping each other's shit. And I just felt like you'd be a perfect fit to talk about some stuff on the show. Yeah, so I'm gonna jump on these topics, and like I said, feel free to jump in, give your comments about some stuff. So, like I was telling you, for those and for everyone who doesn't know, because Veillie was not aware of this as well, we've got a Emmett Till 2021 situation on our hands. There was a 22-year-old young boy by the name of Barry Washington Jr. who moved to Bend, Oregon not too long ago and allegedly has been harassed by male and female, i.e. Ian Cranston and Ali Butler, right? And so people are saying it's premeditated murder. However, we do not have concrete evidence to prove such, but there's a feeling. Now, there was a full video showing this couple harassing this guy. However, that video was doctored and edited when it was sent to the news, and the news posted that video, not the full video. However, in the video that is seen that I did show yesterday, if you do want to check out that footage, go check it in, because I'm not posting it and showing it on this episode. It is very graphic. And so they shot this kid, laughed at him, stood over him, bumped up the music, and continued to party and went about their night. The video was then sent to the news. No police were called. Police did show up, but Ian Cranston was arrested, charged with second-degree manslaughter, and then he posted bail, $10,000 bail, and was released. He has since been resentenced, no bail. But now we focus our attention on Ali Butler, who apparently is missing. So we need to find this bitch. Let me just jump into this clip real quick.
Complimenting Ian Cranston's white partner. Now I say supposedly because it's believed by the family and others that Ian Cranston and Ali Butler have been racially harassing and terrorizing Barry since he moved here. So it's possible that him saying his reason for killing Barry because he complimented his white partner is just an excuse, a really bad one and a really racist one at that, and that should in itself speak to the mindset of these people. But I do believe this was premeditated, and so do many other people. We do believe this was a hate crime, and while they have some evidence, they don't have enough right now to prove it outright. And so our DA does not want to take that charge to court yet for the chance of it being denied. I see the media is arriving now, Joyous. Hopefully they'll get something correct. For For those of you who saw the video that was posted on Central Oregon Daily News and judged Barry by that, I would like you to keep in mind that that video was submitted by the killer's girlfriend and is edited to omit everything that happened beforehand. Them following him outside of the club, them calling him racial slurs, it omitted all of that. So if you're judging anybody besides Ian and Allie by that video, then I need you to check yourself.
And so there's a the media, the news company that Allie Butler sent the horrendous video to, that posted the doctor video, decided to show up to film this, and this was the public's reaction. Wrong clip, but they basically pushed, they didn't physically touch him or anything, but they basically pushed the reporter out and told him get the fuck out of here, as they should. I don't know who knows anything about Bend, Oregon, but there really weren't many people of color there, if at all. Not like black people like you and I. And I should rephrase that. There are a lot of lighter skinned black folk in Bend. There are not many dark skinned black folk that I have seen that were at that press conference. Anyway, this story, please follow closely to it. Please share it, spread it as far and wide as you can. It is important that we get justice for Barry. It is important that his mother is not chastised and she gets as much support as possible to take as much of this burden off her shoulders as possible, and the rest of his family, because they really are grieving right now. Mind you, this happened on September 19th. And again, September 19th, the media was inundated with stuff about Gabby Petito, the white girl who went missing that we're never going to find. And while she does deserve love and, you know, some attention, there's so many other black and brown and indigenous lives out there who deserve just as much love and attention because they're missing too. Or they've had atrocities committed against them by racist ass motherfuckers who don't have anything better to do than torment people for the color of their skin. So if you want further updates on that, you can also follow my Instagram page. There is updates there. And you can also follow the young individual. What is her name? One moment.
All right, TikTok, I need you to stop. I need you to blow this video up for me. This man here is Ian Cranston. This woman here is Allie Butler. They live in Central Oregon, and currently they are hiding. I believe they live in Redmond, Oregon.
Rosie Stanfield. If you search her on TikTok, you can find her, and she's literally like the one that is sharing information about this case. So if you want the real deal about it and what's going on, be sure to follow her. And so, excuse me, I want to get into a couple of headlines real quick. What is going on with Facebook? All right, let me just close this out really quick. Excuse me, everyone. That is also why I have not shared any links yet. Facebook's being a little funky.
So is Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, I'm literally trying to share the link of this live right now to Facebook.
Oh yeah, is it glitching? Like it'll delay and then make you share it twice?
No, it would say that there's an error and not let me share anything at all.
Oh,
it is now though. I'm good now. But now I had to close everything out and reopen it. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone, but you know, this happens. Just bear with me here. I appreciate you. And crazy thing is, I closed everything out, and now I just gotta find the articles.
No problem.
All right, here we go. So the one thing I did want to touch on, because I am furious about this, and I've been talking about it, and it seems like all of a sudden overnight people just shut the fuck up, and it's really grinding my gears because when it comes to black people, people just don't want to talk. But
Of course not.
of course, the court allows Biden to continue mass expulsions without due process under Title 42. What that's talking about is, if anyone has been following the story on Haitians that have been fleeing from Haiti and coming to America, they have literally been fleeing atrocities unimaginable. And America's literally turning them right back around, not even telling them anything, just sending them right back to Haiti, which is against the law. They need to give them due process. They're not even doing that. So
how does that even work? Like,
you know how, like, when Mexicans and Guatemalans and Venezuelans and all of them come to the border and they have their kids and stuff with them, they like separate the kids and all that. That was a big thing, but they were holding them in basically jails, like prisons, detention centers as they called it. But at least they were holding them until they processed them, got their names or some kind of information on them. They're not doing that with these people. They're not doing that with Haitians. They're literally just taking them somewhere and putting them on a plane and sending them right the fuck back. Legit. Oh, and then they want to quote unquote whip them on horses and shit like that. You know,
what the fuck?
I don't know if you saw that one. Check one of my previous podcasts where they were on horseback, and there's images of them basically like whipping them, like, and yelling some really offensive stuff, like really horrible things they were racist in nature. But immigrant justice advocates are condemning a federal appeals court ruling that will allow the Biden administration to continue mass expelling asylum seekers without due process under Title 42, citing the pandemic as justification. Are you fucking kidding me? Last month, a lower court issued a temporary ban on the Trump-era policy, which was set to go into effect today. Attorney Lee Gellert, who led the ACLU's lawsuit against Title 42, said if the administration is making the political calculation that if it acts inhumanely now, it can act more humanely later, that calculation is misguided and of little solace to the families that are being sent to Haiti or brutalized in Mexico right now. This comes as CBS News reports the Biden administration has deported at least 5,400 Haitian asylum seekers using Title 42 in the last 11 days. Mind you, let me put a little perspective on that, because last week there was 14,000 asylum seekers huddled under a bridge right across the river from the U.S., right? They counted 14,000. You just basically deported half those people right the fuck back within the last week. This is why the media is not covering it. Meanwhile, 4 United Nations agencies, including the Human Rights Office, are urging countries to stop deporting Haitian asylum seekers without first properly assessing their claims, which is a violation of international law. So right now, the U.S. is committing crimes against Black people. Why is no one talking about this? Oh, well, it's regular news. It happens all the time.
Yes.
They don't care.
Correct.
This is not newsworthy, I guess, in America. I mean, hey. So go ahead, brother.
It's very disheartening because on one hand, as a brother, I'm of course I'm pissed off, but like it's not like you said, like it's every day. Like not this it never changes.
We will change it. We will change it. I mean, people are waking the fuck up. People are saying they're not having it no more. And we are not our ancestors. So we're a whole different kind of crazy. You feel me? I really do have faith that things will change. And sometimes, getting fired up does add fuel to that fire. It's just a matter of like how you use that energy. And I don't condone violence, but some people do. and that's their energy. I can't knock their energy. You know what I'm saying? Like we all play a part in this on this ride, and some of us are more peaceful, some of us are more violent, and I think that that's the yin and the yang of things. Like we
There
have to
you
have
go. Cause I ain't got shit to say about that either. Like I'm a pretty soft soul, but like I know some hard niggas. Like
facts,
they
fucking
got
facts.
yes.
I wanted to get at one more thing. Hold on, let me just check this real quick. Okay, yeah, there are a couple more stories I want to read that really, wow, just talk about injustices. I've if you want any of these stories or headlines, I will post a link in the YouTube comments. A lot of the articles I get are from Democracy Now, which I believe is a very trusted source, grassroots. They are not corporate run or owned. They don't give a fuck about shit. They will tell things exactly how the fuck it is, and they do not apologize for it. That's why I love them so fucking much. Now, Cori Bush, I love her. I respect her. She's real and raw. She tells exactly how she feels. No, she don't sugarcoat nothing, and she's been through the ringer. She's not your ordinary politician. She never sought out to be a politician. She became a politician off the backs of Black Lives Matter in Ferguson. She opened up about having an abortion after rape, as House members share abortion stories. Several Democratic House members shared their own experiences getting abortions during a hearing Thursday amid a mounting assault on reproductive rights across the U.S. California Congress member Barbara Lee said she was just 16 when she had to travel to Mexico for a so-called back alley abortion in the days before Roe v. Wade. Lee said she was one of the lucky ones for surviving the procedure. Meanwhile, Congress member Cori Bush said she had an abortion after being raped at 17. And she said, so to all the Black women and girls who have had abortions and will have abortions, we have nothing to be ashamed of. We live in a society that has failed to legislate love and justice for us. So we deserve better. We demand better. We are worthy of better. So that's why I'm here to tell my story. So today, I sit before you as that nurse, as that pastor, as that activist, as that survivor, that single mom, that congresswoman, to testify that in the summer of 1994, I was raped. I became pregnant, and I chose to have an abortion. A bill banning abortions at 8 weeks in Cori Bush's home state of Missouri was passed in 2019, but is on hold during legal challenges. And Missouri Republicans say that they plan on introducing an even more restrictive measure modeled after Texas bullshit near total ban on abortions that just has passed. Washington's Pramila Jayapal also testified at Thursday's hearing as well. This is fucking nuts. It's like an all-out assault on people in general.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Where's the justification of these laws?
It's based off of their I think mostly it's based off of their religious viewpoints, and they use that as justification.
We're still aligning our laws with religion.
We never have, but because there's so many Christians in our country, they derail us and try to make it out to be like we're supposed to follow Christian guidelines. This is not a Christian nation. It just happens to be a Christian dominated nation. And even, you know what, that's a lie, because half the Christians that claim that they're Christians really ain't even motherfucking Christians. We can go down that route too.
Yes.
Like, for real, but you bring up a really good question.
It don't make sense. How could you call this country like the fucking melting pot,
right,
full of a blend of the world's religions and practices and ways of life, but you're still gonna make everybody sit in that fucking sermon at the Baptist church? Like, are you serious? I don't understand that. It's 2021 and we're still fucking doing that shit.
For real. And it's not just it ain't just the Black folk, but that's our experience. You know what I mean? Growing up in a Black church, what it's like.
I keep saying we, but I'm talking about America. Like,
right. Because
yeah.
that's what I was getting at. Like, face it, you got the white people that grew up in the Catholic Church. You got white Jews that grew up in the Jewish, and everybody has been suppressed in some way when it comes to the religion. And religions in America, I feel like is super hypocritical. And everyone is raised with this like blinders over their eyes and over their spirits. And it's ironic that we're saying over spirits, right? But
Yeah.
it's the fucking truth. Like, uh, um, oh, all right. Next topic. Over 50% of police killings go unreported. Police kill black people at 3.5 times higher the rate than whites. Not surprising. A new study in The Lancet finds that over half of all police killings in the U.S. go unreported in government data. That represents over 17,000 deaths at the hands of police since 1980. Police killings of Black Americans is the most undercounted at a rate of 60%. The police also kill Black people at a disproportionate rate that's 3.5 times higher than white people. Again, that is no surprise. If you're Black, you know this.
Yes. I mean, it's what they want to do when they want to retire early. Like, wait.
Right, yo, for real. This one I find just that to me this is fucking devastating, but this is why I'm very careful with what I consume and how much of it I consume. Like, I don't eat much meat. If I do, like, I'll eat beef, but it has to generally be grass fed, and I eat chicken, but I try to watch like what.
Right.
I love chicken. I'll never stop eating chicken, but
Yeah.
it's just crazy, like the things that they do to animals that they massively produce just to feed us. You know what I'm saying? And
No, it's really not. It's really not to feed us. It's to what they can save in their wallet. Like that. That's what it comes to. What this really comes down to, the mighty dollar. Like, if they really could give a fuck about us, it's just a consequence. Like, oh, we need that. So why don't they just give it to us the cheapest way possible and make it taste good? Like,
I think, well, it's part of that, but they yes and no. Like, they set it up this way from the start, but I don't think they plan it to be the way that it is. They just kept doubling down on things, and it ended up being insidious. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I think, like, in the 40s and 50s, like when things were massively, I think it was different. It was a different area. Things were still quality. But as things exploded and corporate interests took over,
I really think it was. I don't have anything to back up this, but like, I really think it had to do somewhere in the 80s where everything was great and businesses were booming and people were really making money, and then they found more efficient ways to do business. Like, everybody's so reminiscent of that time, but like, I also like some of the aesthetic from back then. Like, a lot of it is consumerism. A lot of it is
right now we're living that to the fullest right now. Consumerism. Why do you think that Barry Washington just got murdered and lynched in broad daylight, and people are laughing at it and no one's saying a damn thing? Because they're too busy working and consuming. They're working to consume and then work to consume. They're not even raising their kids. They're letting the electronics and the media raise their fucking kids. And it's not that they even want to do that. They don't know anything else. They're working and consuming. That is our culture in America, sadly. Sadly. The one thing that I will say is, because of this madness in our culture, it has created like evolution. Like, there's people that have been destined to curb the path of our spiritual soul here in America. And so that always, at the end of the day, gives me hope. Like, rebirth is never pretty.
Not at all.
But at the same time, it is still beautiful, you know, like, and there's a difference. Like, I don't
took
give
that
a
right
fuck
out of my head.
For real. Yeah, like, hold on one second. I just think that it's important for us to be as aware of our role in the path of this ship.
Oh shit! I gotta
Um,
reconnect. But I think my phone is dying, bro.
oh no, that sucks. So I guess we just lost our guest for now. We'll have to wait for him to come back on because he can just literally just post do the link and hop back on, which is fine. That is perfectly fine and okay. There's nothing that I haven't experienced when it comes to technical difficulties here. So let's just take a quick pause here and see if he hops back on. All right, so it looks like he is back. I was like, all right, we're just gonna take a little 20-second break.
So I got listen, I'm using my older phone now, like, and it's fully charged, but my just the type of stuff I've been on, like my phone is never fully charged anymore. Like it's just not like
No, you gotta get with that.
I know, like, and I even got it charged. Like it was charging as we spoke, but I gotta get a new phone. Like it's janky as hell.
Look, I completely feel your pain on that. Like I got my old phone and my current phone, but they ain't shit. So I gotta I will figure that out. It's just not at the top of my priorities, but it
Exactly.
should be. I just I'm careful with phones because I know how they're made, and it just really bugs me. Like I don't know what you know about that.
Nah, I don't. What do you mean?
I will just okay. So people heard of blood diamonds, but also the things that make our phones work. There's a certain metal that is needed for phones and electronics that see little black boys in the Congo working under really horrible conditions and dying in devastating environments to supply us with fucking phones.
Wow.
And it always just devastates me when I get a new phone. So I try to get as much use out of them as possible, you know? It's something that's always on my mind. So we were talking about food and chicken and stuff, and the reason I wanted to bring that up was because footage from an animal rights group shows mistreatment of chickens at foster farms. So animal rights defenders have released shocking footage taken inside a slaughterhouse run by California's largest poultry producer. A videographer with the group Direct Action Everywhere used miniature infrared cameras to document workers slamming live chickens onto a concrete floor, failing to properly inspect birds, failing to stun birds before their throats were cut, and other abuses. Activists say foster farms workers are underpaid, ordered to remain on their feet for hours without breaks, and are forced by managers to work at a breakneck speed that prevents the humane treatment of animals. So of course, if you're working the employees like animals themselves, they're going to be stressed out and take it out on the animals. And when we consume that food, we're going to be just as stressed out when we're consuming it, because we're taking in all of that aggression and pain and inhumane treatment of animals and people. We're animals too, but you get what I'm saying.
Energy. Yeah.
Yes, transfer of energy is real, and it's a really big problem here in America. People don't honor their food. Like, yeah, we grew up in a church environment where they said, bless your food. That's a real thing, and it's something that you really should take into consideration, because when you're thankful for your food, you're actually blessing it. And a lot of the food that we get in America is not the best. It will help it go a little better of a way if you actually do bless it before you eat it.
Yes.
And a lot of people are like, what the fuck? But it really does make sense. Like, if you're killing an animal humanely and you gave that animal love and care, it also is going to nourish you way more than it would have if you didn't, and it was like not raised with love, and it was just slaughtered for the sole purpose of feeding you, but not feeding your soul. Like, and there's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like the way you explained it just made me think of when people pray before they do something, or when they pray when they wake up in the morning or go to sleep. You're asking God to purify or just protect you during whatever it is that you're doing. You want to have a good night's sleep. You want your day to be positive and just productive. Like, and you want your food to be purified and, full of love. And I mean, that's just what it is.
I think, there's enough of us that feel that. But when it comes to like the Black community, there's not enough that feel that. And it's important that like people like ourselves do our part to spread that love and knowledge to others like us, melanation wise, so that we're paying it forward, but we're also continuing spreading the love, so we as a people can elevate ourselves
I'm looking
back to where we are.
Bracelet while you saying it, like,
right. I just really do have faith that at some point, I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime, but I don't care. At some point, there's going to be a big shift where we will, and I'm not even just specifically speaking to Black folk, but Black folk will definitely come into their own. But I think there will come a day where like everyone just, it won't be how it is now.
Yeah.
But there will definitely be a shift from how it is now to something completely different, but good.
I think a lot of people are going back to, the necessities of life. Like I know for me, I was putting so much pressure on myself after I graduated college. Like I needed to do this, that, and work so hard so that I can be this success that I was told that I needed to be. And I'm like, I fucking go to work, I come home and I water my plants, and then I go sit outside and hug a tree. Like, what?
For real though, like our life was not meant to be this kind of repetitive work at all.
Yeah.
We're not meant to be that way. And it's just, I wish more people would see that and understand that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think, well, it's tough because a lot of people are either afraid or just distracted and willingly distracted. Like they just, like you said, it just is what it is. Like it's a conscious effort to do this stuff.
But that's the thing. A lot of people are not conscious right now. A lot of people are just, they're not connected. They're not connected as people. They're connected to the matrix. So they're disillusioned. They're not thinking for themselves. They're not alive. Like we see all these movies about zombies and stuff. That's exactly what we're around 24/7. Like that's how I feel.
Yeah, the more I elevate, the more it becomes apparent. Like, yeah, like there's, yeah, I definitely do feel that zombie vibe.
I just think that the good thing about that is like you can discern who you can connect with and who you can't very
Yeah, because
quickly.
they definitely make themselves known.
Right.
Like being at work, I've found more of my own tribe. Like there's a, and I don't know if I would have. I mean, so as much as the only stuff I really heard of was like the zodiac and crystals, but I didn't know, and I never really felt how effective crystals were until I started working on myself.
God.
And it was all because I working on myself, I was dealing with all the toxins in my body. And that's a big part of it. The toxins really numb you to life.
That is true. I completely agree with that.
And if you're just consuming and consuming and consuming, you're not going to be in tune.
Right. But I will say being aware of that, if you have enough sense to be aware of that, that's a start, and it helps because you have a point of origin to start from and say, okay, I'm going to radiate from here. I know that I'm at a low frequency. I need to get back to me, and something's got to change. And like slowly but surely it does. It takes a lot of work, but one can come back from that. Like I spent almost a year just stagnantly numb, and half the time didn't even really realize it. You know what I mean? And then like something shook me out of that shit. And I realized how numb I actually had been prior to. So sometimes it's just like when you're in the thick of that shit, you don't realize it.
If you don't mind me asking, what shook you?
My grandpa passing away.
Wow.
Like it was crazy. It was so fucking crazy the way it happened. And when it happened and I started feeling other kinds of emotions that like just came flooding back, I knew at the moment what it was, but it was so much stuff and so much emotion that I just broke down. But I had to take it all on. It was important. It was something that I had to do. Not only was it something that I had to do, I felt like my ancestors, my grandpa, were pushing me to do it. And it was that extra power from my pop passing that pushed me to do it too. That helped along with my other ancestors to push that shit through. He actually is the inspiration behind the Leon Block. He is the whole embodiment of him and his personality and the things that he did and stood for is what the Leon Block stands for and is in the embodiment of the Leon Block. And so it's just crazy, like it's crazy how things come full circle, how things connect, you know?
That's quite a gift he left you.
Right. I was blessed to be able, like, for him to tell me how proud he is of me and him to see the Leon Block and like lose his shit when he would see me on TV. Like little things like that just really get me to pay attention, you know.
Yeah.
To where I'm going with.
Oh, that's fucking impressive.
For real. I can't say that enough. Like for real. It's just what I see and what I feel is expressing Black love, especially with men, and passing on knowledge and sharing that is important. And that's one thing that I learned from him in like his later years was seeing him come into that and in turn making me feel like I am I'm a good person and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in life, you know. And that's the kind of motivation that we all need to hear from another black man.
Yes, definitely. It's funny. It's not funny, but it's no, it's funny that you say that you bring that up because I just I just recently reconnected with my own father.
Right.
Yeah, because me and him, you know, he wasn't in the picture growing up. I mean, he was in and out. He wasn't
Right.
man of the house like he, you know.
Right.
But it was this awakening that has allowed me and him to reconnect because he's on his own spiritual path, but like he's got so much knowledge, and and me being so just new
Hungry.
to this, like I need that guidance, and you know, there he is. So instead of focusing on our past, I'm
Right.
like, let's do this. Like, teach me.
See, I feel like the relationship with my dad is kind of the opposite. Like I'm
Yeah.
over trying to give it a try. Like I feel like I'm the adult in this and he's the child. And so I'm just tired of it. And I've made
Yeah.
peace with it. I don't have any issue with him. He's cool peoples. He really doesn't say much to me. And the things that I'm involved in and the things that I do where my mind is not even on his radar. So
Okay.
for me, it's like that's where you at and this is where I am. You know, it doesn't mean anything to me, and people be like, "You sure? Doesn't that get to?" No, like I'm at peace, and I have no issue with it. If I wanted to call him up, I wish him happy birthday. I say Merry Christmas. I keep a G. Like I don't
Right.
have any. Now, when I go to have a son or daughter, my relationship with him is going to be different from jump. If he tried to form a relationship with me now, I'd be very reluctant. I don't have space for him, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But I would try to make room for him, but it's not necessary for me. It's not.
Gotcha.
I'm a grown ass man, and like it's not necessary for me. So when people say like every father needs his son and every son needs his father, like to an extent, yes. Like when you're a youngin and you're a kid, yes. But as you get older, and in general, no, you need a father figure. But as you get older and you become and you're a grown ass man, like what you didn't get taught and what you did get taught is what you teach the youth beneath you. So like what I did not get from my biological dad, like I did get teaching stuff on my own and learning things on my own. And then when I became an adult, like my pop taught me a lot of stuff, but that was very like short at the end of his life. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of stuff that I learned on my own, and I'll be damn sure to make sure that I pass everything I learned off to my offspring, and make sure I don't make the mistakes that like my parents made. And I think that's the beauty of things. It's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? I don't fault my dad for shit. He just ain't my cup of tea, and I'm cool with that. That I don't see that as a bad thing. A lot of people do and try to project their feelings onto me, and I'm like, yo, that's your feelings, but I'm cool.
Yeah, everybody's got their own relationship with their parents. People don't need. It's yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, I don't know why people would attempt to do that anyway. Like, everybody's life is different, and people are doing things for different reasons. Like, there's no general way to have a relationship with your family.
Yep.
And everybody's got their own like issues. I know for me, I I have been making conscious efforts to reconnect and form stronger bonds with certain people in my family, because especially my parents, because even though things went down the way they did, you know, personally, like I grew up with child neglect because my parents they didn't take the time to develop the tools and skills that they needed to and so there wasn't much to pass down to me. I had to figure out a lot of things and I made a lot of mistakes. But on top of that, I also had to growing up, I learned how to adapt to my environments. And
Right. Yep.
Using that skill, I have been able to break cycles that have been hereditarily passed down to me.
Talk about it now.
Listen.
Break down that generational trauma and throw it out.
The crazy shit that I've been doing because my body or I got shit in my mind from my parents. Like, bro, I have to talk to them. I have to understand why the fuck they were doing the things that they were doing. Like, man, like it's like
we can't fault them for what they went through at the time of life that they were going through it.
Yeah.
We just gotta accept it. Like what's it called? Eat it, digest it, and shit it out.
Yeah.
For real. Because it's not for us to do, but it is still our food, you know. We inherit it.
Yeah. And the universe don't give you things that you can't handle in the first place.
For real. I just like, for me, my mom raised me single. She was 17 when she had me, so she was a senior in high school. And my dad, I didn't find out he was my dad until I was 5. And but I was always a very smart person from the time I was fucking born. Like I was too smart for my own good. And so like I really didn't care. Like, oh yeah, that's my dad. Okay, that's nice, great. You know, I was more concerned. I was more excited the fact that I had a brother all of a sudden, but it just like quickly, I was just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna have a relationship with my dad because he gave me, by his actions, just like he really did not care. And so I learned to not care quickly. And then as I got older, and there were like these half-ass attempts, I just learned to not trust that because. Well, so when you go with what someone shows you, not what they're telling you, you know? So for me, that's what it was. And even as an adult, like, because someone's your parent, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt always. But if they keep breaking your trust in your heart every single time, like, you come to a point where you're like, deuces, nigga. Like, you can take that shit elsewhere. Especially when I see you doing other things to other siblings and I'm just left over here like the ugly duckling. Like, I'll be that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm you know, yeah.
It don't matter who it is. You can't just keep letting people break your heart.
Fact. And you know what? What your parents do or don't do to you has an effect on what you accept and don't accept from the love of your life. You know what I mean? From the relationships and the friendships that you develop and have and the people you attract are a direct result and reflection of the behavior and the things that your parents did or did not do to you as you were growing up, especially in your adolescence.
Listen, and don't be an empath and have parents like that. Oh my goodness. Like you just get tossed by
about it.
Like the vampires are out there and they see you before you even see yourself.
Yep. Talk about it. Like
I was in a few relationships where they would I thought they was with me because I was cute and we was gonna have a good time. Nah, I was a sucker and they
was sucking you for energy.
Yes.
And you could be depleted and they waiting for another drop and they say, oh, it's mine. Fuck you, your body and your soul. I want all of it. It's mine.
Listen, college, I had some great experiences in college, but I was not healthy in college, bro. Like it was.
Well, nah, college is supposed to be that way, bro.
but like my mental and physical state, like horrifying, because I was carrying so much baggage, and then I was in a relationship with a vampire. It's like it was not a good look. Like
I think many of us have had that experience, especially in the Black communities, because of not only the generational trauma, but how that affects specifically like our generation, our parents, and what they did and did not do, and what we inherited, did not inherit, and how we dealt with that, and how we come up. Like I was having a live earlier, last night, a midnight chat with another homie of mine, and we were both saying kind of something similar, but on the terms of race and relationships, and like not wanting, let's say like a Black girl cuts off all Black dudes because a couple of Black dudes treated her wrong and did her dirty because they was nothing but thugs. But guess what? Her daddy was a thug and he treated her that way. So she only sees other Black dudes that way. She won't fuck with Black dudes because she sees her dad in them. So she goes to white dudes. And guess what? She ends up with a white dude that treats her right. It just happens. And then there's another story where a Black girl won't deal with Black dudes, so she goes to Black girls because she thinks that's where she's going to get the love and affection. People just a lot of times internalize the signs that the universe is trying to give them, and it manifests in other ways spiritually, and that translates to attracting vibrations from people that we are not supposed to be attracting. And I've been there and done it, and it's and I will probably do it again. It's the path of life, but knowing is the key,
right? Because once you know, like, you can't unknow.
Facts.
Like that's just it.
That's the power.
Yeah, I know. For me, I was emotionally stunted, or like inept. Like my emotional intelligence was garbage for a long ass time. So I had no idea when I was being played. Like I just thought I was under the, what is it? Just like the stereotypical like guy supposed to do whatever he needs to do for the woman. Like what, like men are just like raised on how to treat a woman, but we're not raised on how to defend ourselves or protect ourselves against women with ill intent.
Because we're taught to not show or express our emotions outwardly at all.
We're not taught how to express ourselves. And there's so much in that.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think talking and people seeing examples of Black men talking about issues and their emotions is important. That's why I like having talks like this. What's up?
I said that's why I post on Facebook and Instagram the way that I do.
For real. Same.
Like men got to know that, like, listen, you can be emotional, you could be sexy, you can be vulnerable.
Like, yes. Get out my head. For real. That is key, because I'm sick of people telling me, yo, you're strong. You're so strong. Yeah, I know I'm fucking strong. But can I be vulnerable for a second and get your support, please?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yes. Like, it's like you just the expectation of strength is just there, and when you are, it's like, of course it's expected, but then it's also like, oh cool, yeah, he's look at him, he could do it. Like, but it's also like, who is supporting me though? Like, I'm supporting all of y'all because y'all can be vulnerable and upset and show your emotion and be sad and shit. But as soon as I do it, it's gross. It's emasculating. It's you're a pussy. Like
these are things that must be changed and challenged. And this is why I love guys like Lil Nas X and Kid Cudi,
oh my
because
God,
they're people that break the mold and are unapologetic. Andre 3000,
yep.
guys that really don't care about gender binary themes. They're just themselves. And they have masculine energy, but they exude and fully accept their feminine energy as well, and all other energies that they have in between. They're not the kind of people that get put to the forefront because they like to educate. And I like to hype people like that up because they do their thing.
When you are unapologetically you, like you just give off that kind of appealing aura, and it makes other people want to be who they want to be as well.
For real.
Because they want that. Everybody wants that. Like nobody wants to think about how other people are thinking about what they're doing with their own life. It's your fucking life. Do what the fuck you want to do, man.
Yes. And you know what? I preach that too. I'm still learning to practice it, and I'm getting better at it. You know, it is. But as long as we all keep preaching it, maybe we help each other out on that day when we needed to hear it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's why I dig the stuff you post, and that's why like it's important we keep posting that uplifting stuff, because someone's gonna see it and be like, "Damn, I needed that today." Especially another brother, you know what I mean? So like it's important for me as a black man to keep posting stuff like that I post.
Yep. Social media is a tool. People want to talk about it like it's cancer, but it's only cancer because you're choosing to look at things that are destructive to your mind.
Talk about it. Because you could sit there and scroll on YouTube and watch fucking, I don't know, dumbass videos about shit. A squirrel eating fucking chocolate cake. Or you could actually go on fucking Google and search how something's made, or why something is the way it is. The universe of the internet is a tool that it can be used at your disposal how you choose to.
I like the way you said that. The universe of the internet.
Because it is a whole different world. That's part of the matrix. For real. Everything on the internet is some type of replica of the outer world, you know? Like I can still feel someone's energy out through the internet, but it's a whole different ball game when I'm in person with them. You know, the mirror image of what we're supposed to actually experience.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that I post, it's like they're pieces of art that have to do with the metaphysical, and I'm just like, I don't know if I would have seen I don't know if I would have seen certain images like that had I not just scrolled on Facebook or something. I mean, I could have Googled it, but then I'd have to actually know about it and then look it up.
What you're looking for, right?
Yeah. I'm on Facebook scrolling, looking at other people's knowledge of this stuff that
some people don't see the beauty in that though, you know?
Because we're really like sharing our minds on that thing. Like the synchronicity is scary sometimes. Like it don't make sense how we're all going through the same things. Like something will happen and I'll go on Facebook and it'll be like somebody is commenting on my life, like it's a whole like
For real.
popcorn gallery, like
Yo, same shit. But that's because we are one.
yeah.
We just, a lot of us don't want to act like it, but that's actually, that makes perfect sense. If we're all one, there's going to be part of you that just fights your body, and then there's going to be a part of you that just acts in perfect synchronicity with your body. And I truly believe that. I believe we're one organism, and the sooner that we start all acting like that, or the sooner that the ones that know that and understand that do everything they can to get on board and help bring the other ones to that, the better off we'll all be. Again, I have faith that that day will come. It ain't today, but there are enough of us. There are enough of us to be able to connect together. You know, that's the beauty of the now, the present time that you and I live in, is that there are people like you and I that can connect over the internet and make connections that are of great importance and to be cherished and valued, because I can go to a fucking pinball tournament or go to the bar or walk down the street to the fucking gas station and find some really cool people, but they might not be all that great. And I can find someone from Alaska in 2 seconds online, and they could be they could be my fucking the husband of my life, and give me the kids that I've always, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you never fucking know. But the internet really is a great place to start. Don't knock it. Like, I've really met some awesome people online, and the best connections online, to be honest.
It's really just about being responsible about the tools given to you. That's it.
There you go. Yes.
Don't abuse it.
And you know what? To kick that back as a metaphor for life in general.
Right. Yeah, I totally feel that. Cause yeah, damn. That was fucking
like
deep.
I said, yes, I get deep, brother. Like I said, the internet is nothing but a microcosm of our world. So yeah. Yeah, niggas get deep. We can get deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck. People like to like talk all this shit, but like I said, I'm a little older than you, but still, like, I've had conversations with dudes way younger than you, and they know what the fuck they're talking about. It's just that society won't give us the credit. And that credit is long, long overdue.
Yeah, it's like the more I get into this world, the more I'm realizing how common it is, and it's really baffling that it's so common, but people just don't, either they just don't care, or they're just trying so hard to pretend that it does not exist.
I think it's the latter. I think that people are just really trying hard to pretend it doesn't exist, because money, the power of the money and the consumerism is really hard to shake. And especially if you're, I hate to say, like a weak-minded person or low frequency so low that you would just give in to that. A lot of people just rather give into
it. Fact. You know, like, insult or not, like, you're just stating a fact. Like,
bro.
We've been there. Like, it was not fun.
For real.
But it's like, in order for you to get here, you have to face yourself, and people don't want to do that. The work is a lot, and people don't want to take the time to do that.
Honestly, it's not even that bad if you're being present. You take things in increments, and it doesn't seem as overwhelming. And I'm learning and going through that right now, and it's just like, wow, why didn't I could have did this long ago and been further along. But then again, everything happens for a reason in the way it's supposed to. So I wasn't ready, but I'm ready now.
Listen, my guys have been telling me to slow the fuck down for like 2 weeks now, and I'm finally listening. Cause I've been like speed racing through this shit. As soon as I woke up, man, it was like but before, because I always have felt like there had to be something more to life than what I was doing. Because I
Right.
was I was miserable. I was like I started the summer and I fell into a depression, and then I
I
worked my way
felt
out of
that.
that shit. Yeah. But like as soon as I woke up and I realized that yes, there is more,
Yes.
I was sprinting, bro. Like I just because it's
Yo,
like
that sounds like me 2 months ago.
dude, like literally, listen, I told you, like I started this 3 months ago. Like I
Ain't
woke
life,
up from
yo, ain't life
woke up
grand,
from the
brother?
fucking matrix. Like
For
because
real.
because once you realize like yeah, like that's you've been living behind veils,
Yep.
choosing to living behind veils
Yep.
for this long. It's like, no, fuck that. I can't do that anymore. Get me the fuck out of here.
Yep. For real. It takes that first step of just say no, no more. Like I'm done. That's the hardest part.
But like I said, my current lesson right now is practicing patience. It's a skill that I am developing because oh my goodness, it impatience is not it. It'll take you down some dark paths really
Yes,
quick
trust
if
me,
you're
I
not
know.
grounded.
I'm learning that like I have trouble with it. Like but it's true. Like especially if you're being present, you don't have time to be impatient. Like it's impossible.
Yes, that's you're right because a lot of my complications came from uh creating expectations that didn't need to be there.
Yes.
And yeah, and it kept me either in the past or thinking about the future too much.
Yep. Yep. Same. And I know a lot of people listening can definitely relate to that. We all do it. And I think that we all do it more than we like to admit sometimes, or most of
Oh
the time.
yeah, definitely.
Thinking that people are going to see us as bad or obsessed, but a lot of us obsessed, especially if you have, the things that I do, like anxiety and depression and bipolar. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
is even harder to get out of those thoughts. But I'm gonna tell you that you can. You can get out of those thoughts, and if you rely on a lot of things, a lot of tools, a lot of things to ground you, people to ground you, things, places, sense, whatever to help you to ground you, you can get out of that.
Yeah, so I am very fortunate. I've got I got a lot of guides and supportive people, but a lot of the women in my life ground me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because they I am too I play the card of the fool a little too well, and sometimes I need to be brought back
Word.
to common sense and get and yeah, just to get my shit together. Like, cause like I said, I'm I every time I think that I've overcome cycles from my parents, there or I'll create my own cycle like subconsciously or something from probably from being impatient and just not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I'm so blinded by the anxiety that I have from whatever action that I'm trying to do. And then I need to hit up my bestie Sarah or my mom or my friend Jada, and they'll just like, what are you doing? Like you're being dumb right now. Like you need
Right.
to calm down and think about
And,
what it is you're doing. Because that's what
and
it
we
is. Like
need that.
you need like logic just leaves the window. Like
Mhm.
you just throw caution in the wind.
but you need that anchor sometimes in other people when the time is right. And friends and connections with other people do that for you in a way that sometimes you can't do for you. And so it's important to have those connections, those anchors, those people around. Sometimes we can't do it alone.
You know what? Oh my goodness. That was one of the weird things. Like, I thought that there were many moments during this journey that I thought that I was alone. But like
we're never alone.
Because I live alone, but like I'm choosing to be away from people. I'm choosing to detach myself from certain people. But at some point you have to I had to accept that I made that decision myself. But at the same time, I live like 5 blocks away from my mom. If I really needed to, I just go to her house. Like,
right.
or I'll just call somebody. Like, and you're right, like we're not alone. We're freaking
we're one.
Yeah,
we
we're
are
one.
one. And our ancestors are always with us. Our friends, our spirits, our guides are always with us. Thank you. And so like we're always never alone. We may feel like it. And that's something that I tell myself all the time because I've always felt lonely, or alone, but I've also always felt like somebody was watching me or somebody was looking over me or there at the same time. So like that's my mind, or like the anxiety and depression and shit like that telling me that, you're alone. Really you're not. Right. You know what I mean? We definitely always have people there.
Yo, sorry if you can hear the freaking, oh my goodness, the motorcycles right now.
You're fine. I don't give a fuck. Like, people, it's not about, I'm not like prissy about that shit. Like, it's about the words that we speak and the things that we have to say and what's going on in the world and the stuff to talk about. That's what's important. I don't care about tons of followers. I don't care about tons of money. I don't care about things looking all official. I'm concerned about the word. I'm focused on the word. That's what's important.
Yeah, I love this, man, because there's in my, like, I just started finding my tribe, like, outside of my family, but like other than that, like there's not too many people I can talk to about this stuff because they just, they don't understand.
They don't get it. Right. Yeah. Completely agree.
And even some of the people that I started this journey with, who are on their own journey as well, like we're on different lanes. So some of the stuff, they're just like, that's a lot, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I gotta sit back and just be like, it is what it is. Like, they got different stuff going on.
Don't sweat it. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And don't get me wrong, like I go through the same shit, and I'm just like, the fuck, and I start thinking about it, but someone else will pull me out of it usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so somebody will know. Somebody will notice or feel it. Like, I'll be at work, mm-hmm. and like the women at my job are the freaking best. Like, if they happen to listen to our conversation right now, like I need them to know that I love y'all, because they're so nurturing. And one of them, her name is Devin. She freaking just knows when I am upset. She just shows up. She just appears. Mm. It's the best.
Ain't it?
It's like she got a spider sense.
Right.
She has Spidey sense.
Well, you know.
Yeah. I'm surrounded by a lot of healers.
Well, that means you're in a good place. You're where you're supposed to be. That's a good thing.
That's good to know.
And be very mindful of that. Keep mindful of that because you'll know when things change, or you know what I mean, like, or you'll feel something. Like I definitely am getting at that point too. Now that I have a space where it's all really good people, and I feel the same way, like what you're saying, I want to make sure that I maintain that. And life will disrupt you and throw obstacles in your path to make sure that you're staying the way that you're supposed to be and continue to be a strong, well-rounded person. So be mindful of the fact that things are going to get shaken up. You're going to be able to tell even more how your aura and spirit is supposed to be. And so I'm just myself being very mindful of that too. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up. I wanna share some images because I know you live, and we didn't really get to talk about that actually. You live in Coatesville, which I was born and raised there. Then I moved to Wilkes-Barre and Scranton, lived up there during like my teens and 20s, and then I moved back a few years ago to Coatesville. And I was just like, I can't do this. This is such a small town. This is too much for me. I cannot do this. And so, like I said, I was working at Urban Outfitters, and like there were so many people living in Lancaster that were like, "Come move out here. Like it's cheaper. There's things to do. You'll like it." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, yes!" Because like I said, there's tons of music, tons of culture, tons of people from all over the world. And there's always art. There's always bands playing, rappers like rap. It's a great place to me. It's a great place despite all the things that's going on here. And tonight there was the PA Mambo Orchestra performing right on the square, and they were pretty dope. So I just wanted to end it on that note real quick. Show y'all.